asparagus before that, right?
Oh,
My mom would boil it.
Oh, well, you may as well eat canned asparagus then.
Yeah, I will reserve my other statements about her cooking because we're live. That is not, in fact, that is not the beginning of the show.
I went out of my way to make sure at our wedding we served asparagus, just because I.
Just because you want everybody to have stinky urine.
Exactly. I walked into like the bathroom, 3 or 4 hours in, and I'm like, yes, this was my doing.
There's Adam.
Hey
My
there.
wife. Yeah, there you go. Kate didn't want to have pigs in the blanket at our wedding because they're too white trash, and I put my foot down.
You said we will have pigs in a blanket.
I did. Followed by yeehaw.
Good for you.
I said, listen, I got next, so the pigs in the blanket aren't going to be the most embarrassing thing here. Do you know who I am?
Have you seen all my top relatives?
All right, so guys, this is it Rayberg?
Rayburn, yeah.
Adam Rayberg.
Hey, Adam.
Hey, Adam.
Hi there. Hey, am I double talking real quick?
I am not hearing double talk now.
I
got
was
some
for a
feedback.
second.
I am.
I did. I muted it. Good.
Okay, much better.
Cool. So Adam is the creator of Bruin USA.
Yay.
Dude, we've got to get that and bring it up to the cabin for the hockey tournament. What?
Nice. That's a card, yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
You can say hell yeah. We're fine with that.
Okay.
You can say
You can say
anything
more than
yeah
that.
you want.
Fair enough.
Jeff already dropped an F-bomb, so we're already off to a rare start.
Nice.
I think it was about fucking Brussels sprouts too.
Yes.
Oh, come on.
Yes. He's a
We
vegophiliac.
were live.
He's a vegophiliac.
Oh, don't even. Did this just already go south even before 42 minutes?
Let me get everything muted here. All right, Adam. So thanks for filling out the show notes. I have to say you already are our best guest ever at filling out show notes. So kudos to that.
Nice.
So did you get a chance to listen to some episodes to kind of see what we're all about?
I listened to the first one. Yeah. I thought it was really good stuff.
Okay. Episode 1 was kind of terrible, but I
Which
guess
one was that?
Episode 1.
Oh. Sharon was asking me a question.
No, it was good. I got a background of who you are, and you went into some personal details, which is cool.
Cool. So yeah, that kind of we pretty much still follow the same format,
Mhm.
and it's laid out here. I've gone ahead and went through and kind of took the top one or two things out of it. So you may not get all the stuff you posted in, but we'll try to get as much as we can that you listed in there.
Yeah, totally fine.
So, once it gets started, the first 15 minutes we'll be introducing ourselves, and then we'll spend a lot of time talking to you, just mostly about Bruin USA and whatnot, and let you give your pitch for it. And then we'll get into the show, and at that point, you're really just part of the panel. You're not like our extra
Sure.
special guest anymore, so just feel to jump in, insult Jim as much as you want. Just feel like you're part of the group, and I may try to bring you into some conversations, but for the most part, it's just roundtable at that point.
Okay.
So one thing we ask folks when they're coming on is if you wouldn't mind giving us like a lead-in, just a little promo that we could use some point in the future. Just something, hey, this is Adam Rayberg with Bruin USA, or Adam's Apple Games, or however you want to phrase it, and you're listening to the We Like Drinking podcast, where it's always 5 o'clock, or where you'll never drink alone, or something like that.
Okay.
And you can just do that whenever you want, however many takes it takes, and we'll just edit it up later.
Whenever I want, huh?
Yep, go ahead. Just go for it. We'll be quiet.
Okay, on the spot. All right. Okay. Welcome to the We Like Drinking podcast. This is Adam Rayberg, creator of Brewin USA, the board game for the craft beer enthusiast. This is the podcast where their typical exercise is a 12-ounce curl.
Nice. Perfect.
I like that.
The one-take legends live on.
Yes. Awesome. Perfect. So, Adam, any questions before we get started?
No. I mean, just hit me if I'm being stupid or something.
If we did that, we would just be hitting each other the whole time.
That's far from the course. Yes.
There was a Taxi episode where Jim is breaking up a fight between one guy.
Another topical reference.
The other thing is, we have little music breaks in between each segment, so you'll hear me a lot as we lead into something, say, into hour, and then we're all just quiet for like a second or two. So that's just normal. That's just for my editing purposes.
Hey, this is a mic check. Is it working?
It is.
Okay. All right. I think it just snapped.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Like you broke it?
Like yeah.
That's why we can't have nice things, Jim.
I'll just blame the kids.
All right, guys. So I'll count us down now, and we'll get started. See you on the other side. Thank you for joining us for the We Like Drinking podcast, episode 16. In this episode, we'll be discussing Chinese takeovers, Minnesota and Wisconsin beer wars, and Brewin USA. So crack open your beer, uncork that wine, and let's get drinking. All right, everybody, thanks for joining us and welcome to the show. We'll get right into our panel introductions. He is a member of the American Homebrewers Association and a certified beer server whose hatred envelopes entire cities. That's true. Jim Myers, how you doing, Jim?
All right. Hello, Pittsburgh. How's that hockey treating you?
Wow, that took us like 12
Yes.
seconds to get to the hate.
We're
Yes,
not
it
getting
did.
We're not getting invited to the beer and donut thing
Yeah,
next year. That's for sure.
That's too bad. I'm drinking. So today I'm drinking High Hops, the Power of Zeus. I came across this. It's interesting because High Hops is based in Windsor, Colorado. When I saw it, they're in kind of rural northern Colorado in Windsor. Tornado, but it's good to see that this town of about 20,000 has come back and they have a brewery in what used to be a garden shop. So I think most people have turned. It's nice to see a garden shop turning into a brewery. So it's interesting. Nice little golden color. They've got the Zeus hop. It's a high alpha acid. It's like a Columbus hop, little piney, some bitterness. Not bad. And they don't state the ABV, but I'm guessing somewhere around 5.5 to 6.
Okay, not bad. Isn't that kind of low for an IPA?
It's an American Pale Ale.
Oh, I'm
Different.
sorry.
An IPA and an American and an APA are two different things.
Yeah, okay.
You're gonna have higher hops but lower alcohol in an American Pale Ale.
My bad. For some reason, I thought it was an IPA. Cool. Well, enjoy that
Come
one.
on, Jeff.
Dude, you're breaking up like mad, so don't blame me. He is a finalist in the 2013 Wine Blog Awards and founder of the Stay Rad Wine Blog, who, right at this moment, has a wine tasting strip on his tongue. Jeff Solomon. How you doing, Jeff?
Yum, yum, yum. Hey, I'm glad you mentioned that Jim was breaking up. I thought I was having a nervous breakdown for a second. So I feel much better about that. Hey, so tonight I'm drinking, so I'm at the store and I thought I was getting the Lagunitas IPA. That's what I thought I brought home. But no, it turned out that it's the Sierra Nevada Hop Hunter IPA. I mean, look at that logo. It looks exactly the same. Of course, that's what I ended up with. So this is a IPA that is distilled with hop oil. So, I mean, it's got a really, like, burly, floral, hoppy, upfront type of thing happening. Really crisp on the finish. You know, when you're drinking it, you wouldn't mistake it for a Lagunitas IPA, and honestly, you wouldn't mistake this label for a Lagunitas IPA either. But I'm drinking it out of a coffee mug tonight, just for Jim. Can you read this, Jim? Just for you.
That's great. That's great. And Jeff Solomon will be called to testify at the Lagunitas IPA upcoming court hearing. So good job with that, Jeff.
And by the way, I love, like, seriously, I love Lagunitas. I've got family from Petaluma. Beautiful area, but come on, Lagunitas. I know they dropped the case, but still, come on.
Awesome. All right. He is a New Mexico homebrewer by way of Colorado, the man who single-handedly brought the donut and beer communities together, John Ruyak. How you doing, John?
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
So,
what you drinking tonight?
well, I was all set to have one of those Kelly's Amber Ale that I reviewed on the website just not too long ago, but my wife drank it at dinner.
Oh.
So I was forced to go to my backup, which is my homebrewed Four Hills Stout. So I'm enjoying another bottle-conditioned Four Hills Stout. So enjoying.
Not Three
that.
Hills.
Is that as good
No.
as Five Hills Stout?
No, that'll be the Imperial Stout that may work the next time I try it. So
Awesome. Well, it just goes to show you that it's always good to have a backup, huh?
always good to have a backup, just in case the wife steals your stash.
That's right. Awesome. Well, welcome to the show, John. And I am the other Jeff on the show, a certified specialist of wine. And, you know, I like to loan my hockey sticks out so others can put their goal-scoring touch on them. Who wrote this crap? I'm looking right at you, Jim Myers. Did you get any goals with that stick? You might want to unmute your phone or your computer.
I did. I got a goal with it. Playing defense, no less.
Nice. Well, good for you.
Yes.
Doesn't sound like it helped the other night, though.
Oh, God, no. And tonight, I am drinking the Ska Brewing Modus Operandi. So quite a lot of IPAs going on. I like that the wine guys have IPAs tonight.
Yum.
Yeah, Modus has a lot of hops in that.
That's like 120 IBUs, isn't it, Jim?
I don't know if it's that high,
I
but
think
they do it they pitch it at the end of the boil, so they get a lot of the aromas and the bitterness on it.
Hop bursting, I think, is what they're calling that now.
Yep.
It does have a nice hop profile to it. I'm enjoying it. So, all right, guys. Well, we are lucky enough to have a guest tonight. He is a board game designer and publisher of the recent Kickstarter board game campaign, Brewin' USA. Brewin' USA is the board game for the craft beer enthusiast with 100+ bottle caps in the box, a brew coaster-inspired map of the United States, and beer cards featuring 79 U.S. calf breweries. Adam Rayberg. Adam, how are you doing tonight?
Hi there. Thanks for having me. I'm doing great.
Yeah, thanks a lot for joining us. You know, I got a chance to play this game. There's a print and play, and I know John has gotten a chance to play it. So first, you know, what are you drinking tonight before we get into it?
Great question. First, I have a Fair State India Pale Ale, so I'm going to follow suit with the IPAs.
Nice.
Fair State is a brewery that is in Brewin' USA, and they are a Minnesota native, so repping the home state, which is awesome. It's a pretty. This is the first time having it, so it's pretty well-rounded IPA. I'd say it's crisp on the finish. 64 IBUs, 6.4 ABV, so nothing crazy, nothing going to knock your socks off, but I would say an overall solid IPA getting into summer.
Awesome. Very cool. So now, Brewin' USA, where did this idea come from?
Oh, man. So like my story for this one is driving home from work. I was, it hit me, and I was like, I want to make a game where as you play the game, this is my inspiration. This is not what the game is, but as you play the game, the more beer you consume, the better you do.
I like it.
par for the
My kind of
course.
game
Like,
already.
as you open a beer, you open a bottle cap, when it's a craft beer. And I was like, what if the game had bottle caps in it, right? Now, I think I've taken a pretty big departure from that, initial inspiration. It's not a drinking game, but it's totally like a craft beer enthusiast game. I mean, it's all about craft beer. I mean, I try to stay as true to the industry as I can.
Yep, absolutely, and it's a lot of fun too.
That's good to hear.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed. I like I was surprised by how competitive the game really gets,
Yes.
especially as it starts getting towards the end of the game. How you signify the end of the game by the first person that gets their third beer released marks the final round and a half or 2 rounds of the game, kind of. And that's when really, it's kind of cruising along at that point, but at that point it gets kind of hateful, and I kind of like that.
It does.
Because it's kind of the last push.
Yes, I like the competitiveness.
Yeah. So, is this your first game that you've made?
This is like my first full game that I've made. I have have a lot of failures before this, and not so much failures as they didn't work, but failures as like I just didn't take them to full completion. This is the first time I think really just going the full 110 yards on it.
Very cool.
Nice. So can you tell people a little bit about the object of the game of building everything and getting it all together?
Yeah, sure. So, so in Brewing USA, you're trying to become the best craft brewery in the U.S. This huge phenomena, like your listeners are probably not they know this, but like there's 3,500 craft breweries in the U.S. right now. It's just booming, and so the whole inspiration was like that's a really cool thing. Everyone has a local craft beer now, and it's really cool to, I think, rep your local brewery, as well as the dream of becoming a brewery owner or of a craft beer manufacturer is a really cool, and I think it's a really cool dream that resonates with other people. So in the game, what you're doing is it's broken down into 3 phases. You're trying to collect craft beer ingredients via an auction system. You're trying to launch your craft beer, and then you're trying to compete for craft beer hotspots throughout the U.S.
Nice. And so the object is to kind of dominating the industry.
Yeah. I mean, it's somewhat like it's somewhat like a market simulation, but it's a victory point game in the board game sense, where you're just trying to score the most points. In the game, there's a variety of ways to score points, but essentially, the more beer you launch, the more and the better you capitalize on the markets, the better you're going to do.
And this takes about an hour to play, you said?
It takes about an hour to play, depending on how many people you have playing the game.
Yeah, I think with 5 people, I think an hour might be a little tight.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the first playthrough is always plus 20 minutes, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
First time, yeah, because you have to go back to the rules and debate what the rules mean.
Local interpretation, yeah.
Yep. But yeah, the auction piece is I wasn't too much of a fan of it when I first read the directions. I was like, okay, I get this. But once I started playing it, I liked it a lot, especially, because it's like there's times where somebody wants something and you're like, I'm just going to take it from you just to be a jerk. So
Exactly.
it might not totally help me, but I'm not going to let you get it. So
Right.
And,
I like the auction phase is my favorite part of the game, I think.
Well, that's great. It's a really interesting game because it's very I guess I would say it's like very modular and very randomness driven, but not randomness like result. It's a lot of input randomness, and then you're making interesting decisions based off of that randomness, right? So the auction phase, every time you look at an auction, you're looking at a different set of ingredients that have different types of ingredients within them and different values of ingredients within them. And so you're trying to like remember, like, okay, what did Jim, what does Jim have in his hand? Does he have a lot of hops? Do I think he's going to go after the hops? Do I need to load up on yeast right now? I mean, it's kind of crazy in that respect.
Yeah, it is. I got burned so bad because I didn't have something at the very end of a game and it just tanked me because I couldn't get it in the final round. And so yeah, a lot of fun. You know, the auction phase, and then especially towards the end of the game, the Brewfest piece to it.
Yes.
You can really nail some people to the wall with that because you have these regions of the United States and you control them with the beers that you brew, but you can come in and try and steal a region, and then you have a Brewfest, and it basically takes all the points that have been built up there and splits them in half, and somebody just loses it all. So it's you can really make a strategic play at the end if somebody's like it, especially if you're in the lead, you can just bury everybody and run away with it. So very well designed game, very well implemented. I was pretty impressed by it. So excellent work, Adam.
Thank
Wow.
you.
Yeah.
I gotta say, just I haven't had a chance to play the game yet, but just listening to you guys talk about it, like I'm starting to salivate a little bit, and I'm thinking about ingredients, and I'm just wondering, like, how wild does it get? Like, have you thought about doing an expansion pack with smoked whale testicles?
Oh!
Heyo. So during the Kickstarter campaign, we hit a stretch goal. We hit one of the stretch goals, and one of them was, I think we hit 4 stretch goals. One of the stretch goals was add an adjunct to the game, and I reached out to some podcasters that had been really cool to get me on the air and just spread the word a little bit, and said, hey, what adjuncts would you want people to vote on for this game? And so I think some of the ideas that came back from these people, it was really funny. Somebody said cream cheese. Somebody said bourbon. And so I had to translate that to okay, I think they mean like bourbon barrel.
How did you translate cream cheese though?
I know. Well, go figure, right? That one didn't win. There was one that was peach, and I already got a pumpkin in there, so that was right after the Super Bowl ad, the pumpkin peach. So I showed the two, overlaying and making the pumpkin peach. Banana was banana bread inspired by someone from England, and there's apparently a pretty good banana bread craft beer in England. And then I forget the last one, but ginger. So there's the core ingredients that you need. The designs are really minimal and really I think just pop. Colors are the colors pop. On the card designs as well, but then you throw in kind of these adjuncts that you can add to really any beer, and the adjuncts give you a special action, and that's what I think keeps the game fun, even if you're losing, because you can come through with a special adjunct at the end of the game and completely flip the U.S. map and the industry on its head.
Yep, stealing positions and
exactly.
Stealing coins from people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I already know I'm gonna.
Oh, go ahead, Jim.
I was gonna say I already know I'm gonna suck at the game the first couple of times I play because I'm gonna go hops. I want all the hops.
Well, you need one of each ingredient to brew a beer. So I think what else has been kind of interesting I play tested this game with beer drinkers, with wine drinkers, with non-alcohol drinkers. Everyone has had a good time, but there has been a decent amount of education along the way too, because people will ask me, well, a 5-value water, what does that mean? Isn't water just water? And what I explain to them is, important in beer, and this is a little bit abstracted, right? This is not talking about the ion content in the water, or or the sodium content in the water, or whatever. But different water, I think, will brew a beer differently. So.
Absolutely, very much so. So can you talk briefly, how was the Kickstarter campaign overall? How was that experience overall?
Yeah, that was insane. I mean, it was honestly one of the most rewarding experiences of my life to this point, where all of a sudden you have this just community of people that like craft beer as well. Every night posting what craft beer they're drinking, trying to help spread the word. Getting breweries on board was extremely validating as well, because you're reaching out saying, hey, I'd love to have you in this game. And they're like, what does it cost? And I'm like, it's free. All you have to do is say, I want to be in the game, and you're in. We'll take care of the details later, but that's really what counts to me. And so validating like that the product looks really good, that you have an audience, and then like we got freaking like BrewDogs to tweet out Brewing USA
nice.
along the way. And so I mean it was really cool. And connecting with people was awesome. I think first project on Kickstarter, we were able to successfully fund and I think pass 4 stretch goals, which was huge. And I think it's been just a really great kickstart really to becoming a small board game publisher.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really been amazing to watch on Kickstarter how well the board game industry has done.
It's the place to be. It really is for board games.
Yeah, it really is, and how devoted the people get to those board games that they fund. I know personally, I did one. It was Viticulture. It was a wine-based game, and I think I bought 3 of his games now, and and it's just like you become almost obsessed. It's crazy how into it all the people that are funding you get, and that's got to be kind of overwhelming and exciting all at the same time.
Jamie Stigmeyer, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, so I think it's a huge loyalty builder too, right? Because there's so much. You're so public facing on that website. You're answering questions in the comments section. You're answering messages one-to-one with people, and just really get a chance to connect with them. And you'll see, like with these board game publishers, these small board game publishers starting out, the sense of loyalty is it's huge. I mean, it's almost like a Coca-Cola kind of thing. Like, it's when this guy makes a new thing, I will get it because I know he does a great job.
Yep. Absolutely. Okay, and Jim, did you have another question? Maybe not. So I saw a question come through here. Are there breweries that are represented specifically in the game? There
are. There are 79 U.S. craft breweries represented in the game. The way they're represented is they are on each brewery has a unique beer card, and it has one of their beers from their lineup in the game, and it has a specific ingredient recipe. Obviously, it's not the ingredient recipe of the actual beer, but it's tailored toward the style. And so if it's an IPA or a pale ale, it's going to have a lot more hops than some sort of a sour ale or something like that. And it also has a name of the beer, and it also has the brewery location as well as the high resolution brewery logo coming through on glassware that's illustrated to match the beer style as well. So you can kind of picture it like, you're going to geek out if you're a craft beer enthusiast because you're like, oh my gosh, this stout is in an English no-name glass or something, and then that's awesome.
Right, yeah, Jim, like for you on the podcast, I'm holding up an image from
my language.
Yeah. And you can see it has the glasses on it. So is this what you're talking about? Like here it would say the brewery on it?
Yeah, so here's a good example. Awesome. Like Yards Brewing in Pennsylvania, I think Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, has their beer Brawler, which is an English mild in the game. And it'll have on that glass, it'll have the Yards Brewing logo, and it'll have the name Brawler on the card instead of like stout or instead of English mild.
Awesome.
It also says the style of the beer too. So I think like the layers of information that you want as a beer drinker. I mean, I didn't get into all the IBUs, the alcohol content. Like, I think that would be really cool to add in the future as a potential next layer, to really geek out on. But you know where the brewery is. You see the logo. It's helping spread the word for these breweries too, because this is going to be going out to 50 states. This is going to be going out to multiple countries internationally, and I've made a personal goal of myself to drink each and every beer from this game this year. Like I'm gonna get it done.
Nice.
Yeah.
Make sure you register them on Untappd.
Absolutely. Yeah, I saw you guys had some Untappd profiles listed on the show notes or whatever. I have to get on that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But you are definitely speaking my language with the glassware. You hear that, Jeff Solomon? Do you hear that?
Which one comes in a coffee mug for Jeff Solomon?
Oh, right. I will
So-
have to add that expansion. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know we're going long here, but one other question, probably the most important question: if listeners on the show they want to get their hands on this game, if they're salivating like Jeff Solomon is to play Bruin USA, how can they, and if they can, how can they get their hands on it?
Yeah, great question. So had, I think, 744 awesome Kickstarter backers rally to help make this thing a reality. There's going to be the first production run, which has, I mean, if you're at all interested in this game, get on the first production run, because I'm going above and beyond to make this thing just knock your socks off. Including a few surprises on my sleeve that I haven't released yet. But the way you can get in on this post Kickstarter is by signing up at bruinusa.com/preorder. I have an email list right now, and we'll be just opening up like a PayPal gateway to get you in on the fulfillment as soon as it ships.
Perfect. And when are you expecting it to ship?
October 2015, so later this year. Hopefully, you can enjoy a nice Oktoberfest seasonal with Bruin USA.
Awesome. Get it in just at the end of October, learn the rules, and take it to your family Thanksgiving and start beer fights.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And Adam, you said at the beginning that it's not a drinking game, but it doesn't hurt to drink while you're playing the game. Right?
Absolutely. I mean, I would encourage enjoying a craft beer or two. That being said, I have a lot of fans that are not alcohol drinkers at all. I mean, the board game industry, the world, not everyone drinks alcohol, right? And as I was, sharing and testing this game, I would just approach random people and be like, "Hey, do you want to play my game?" And, I'd be at a board game convention, so it was, they knew what I was there for. But if they're not an alcohol drinker, they still liked it, which was really positive to hear.
Absolutely.
The other thing I will say too is it's a pretty lightweight game in terms of the hobby board game market. It has a lot of rules, but once you pick it up, it's pretty easy.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's not like it's an Arkham Horror or anything like that. This is a
Right.
pretty low key game I think you pick it up I think one playthrough and you got it down.
I would agree. And if you have someone there to teach you, and play through one round even, take 10 minutes, I think you're up to speed.
Awesome. All right, cool. Any other questions for Adam before we move on?
Yeah, I'm getting on that pre-order.
Nice.
That's a statement.
Where are you guys out of? Let me see if I have breweries from your home states.
We've got New Mexico, Colorado, and California.
Okay. Yes, you are all represented. Is Santa Fe in New Mexico?
Yes.
Okay. So Santa Fe's in the game. Colorado, I think Grimm Brothers and Equinox and Pateros?
Oh yeah, that's out on the western slope.
Okay. And then
Yeah.
California, there's a handful.
I was going to say there's probably a lot in California.
Yeah. So you guys are all well represented in Bruin USA, which is awesome.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Yeah, I'll be getting on that pre-order as well.
Nice.
All right, cool. Adam, we're going to move into the rest of the show now, so just feel free to jump in whenever you want,
Awesome.
and we will just carry on. So,
Great.
hey, Jim.
Yo, what's up?
Hey, man, my watch is broken. What time is it in hipster land?
Dude, I gotta use my analog Mickey Mouse / Apple Watch. It tells me it's 5 o'clock.
Nice. Hello Kitty is right. And perfect. The top of the hour means it's time for Booze News, where we discuss interesting, noteworthy, or idiotic stories. So, Jeff Solomon, you've been kind of quiet, so...
Well, part of it was I forgot that I was on mute, but hey.
Good.
How is everyone? I had some really cool stuff to say, but no one heard it except for the walls, my pink walls.
Pink walls. Excellent. 16 episodes in, and we still don't know how to use a mute button. That's okay.
Ask Jim about that. Hey, China. Let me tell you about China. China loves wine. Like they've become like a really big player in the wine game. Quite, within like the last 10 years. I mean, they've really kind of changed the world economy in terms of wine, and we've seen, a lot of backfire from that too, in terms of a lot of what's the word? Why am I missing it? There's lots of like fake wine going around in China, like it's really kind of a. There you go. That's the word, counterfeiting. So there's been a lot of that going on, and so it was interesting to see this report the other day. Actually, two conflicting reports on the exact same day. So the first report from The Independent was, according to this organization, the International Organization of Vine and Wine, they were saying that China had overtaken France and gone into second position behind Spain as far as a wine growing area on the planet. Like, they're saying that they're up to 11% of all wine vineyards on the planet are in China, and that's making them a huge player, because even though, China is certainly buying up a lot of wine from other places, in the States at least, you don't see a lot of Chinese wine coming over this way.
Right, I was going to say that.
Yeah, on the exact same day, though.
So
before
we go to that, what was your initial reaction when you saw that article?
My initial reaction when I saw that first headline, and I got to be honest, because the other headline was like right next to it, I'm not sure how much it influenced that. But yeah, I was like, China? I think they make wine. I've never seen any Chinese wine though. What was your reaction?
I was like, what? I'm like, this can't be right. I'm like, because the top three consistently are Spain, Italy, and France. And guess what? In any liquor store you go into, you see a lot of Spain, Italy, and French wines. I have seen one Chinese wine, and that was because somebody sent me a picture of it that they saw in their liquor store. And of all places, Pennsylvania, like the heart,
Pennsylvania getting Chinese wine.
The Chinese Chardonnay. So so I was calling shenanigans like the minute I saw it, but carry on.
Okay, and meanwhile, as a side note in the news, I think, was it Moët just bought up a Chinese vineyard, and they're going to be putting out a Chinese Bordeaux blend in the coming years. We're never going to see it. So at the same time that we see this headline saying that China in second place for wine-growing regions on the planet, right next to it is a title from a blog called The Grape Wall of China, which specializes in Chinese wines. You don't know what you're talking about. I forget the exact headline, but they're basically like, this is crazy if that's what you think. And so they went into some statistics. So there are almost 800,000 hectares of vineyards in China, according to the International Organization of Vine and Wine, and that is a buttload of vineyards. That does make up 11% of the vineyards on the planet. The only problem is, of those 800,000 hectares of vineyards, only about 40,000 of them are dedicated to wine. You know what China loves more than wine? They love table grapes and they love raisins. And that's why they're number 2 on the list. Nothing to do with wine. Still grows a whole lot more grapes for winemaking than China. France is still number 1 in the world. I want to say it was like 49 hectoliters. I don't know, like hectares and liters and stuff like that. But they make a buttload of wine, and so obviously this is just somebody misinterpreting these facts that are coming out in this report. United States still drinks more wine than anybody else, so that's good to know as well.
We're number 1. We're number 1. USA.
We got a long way to go until we're number 1 per capita, but
Vatican City has that sewn up for the foreseeable future.
Well,
stinking Vatican City.
All I know is I'm aging some wine in my garage so I can sell it to people in China on eBay.
Oh my goodness.
Adam, for reference, John has a history of storing alcohol in his garage, which is not exactly an ideal storage technique.
Not an
He does, however, store his games perfectly in his inside cellar.
Huh?
Yeah, that didn't come out right at all.
Terrible.
Okay, did anybody else pick up on that story, the first story that claimed that China was the largest growing region, and you stole my thunder with the USA, by the way, Jeff Solomon. Did anybody else catch the part where they stated that Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt got taken in by wine counterfeiters?
Yeah, that was weird because that's been in the news for a little while too. It seemed like they just, talk about lazy journalism. They just kind of like merged two stories together. Like I did not understand how that really fit at all. I mean, but yeah, Brangelina is fighting counterfeiters right now. Yao Ming has linked up with Kodak to make like holograms on the back of his labels so you can't counterfeit his crappy wine that we'll never drink because it's expensive.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I mean, counterfeiting is all the rage, and a lot of it is just like fake chateau names. Like you walk around in Hong Kong, and it would be like Chateau Courrier, which is my label, by the way.
No, I also that Great Wall of China is pretty cool. I got into it a little bit, and I said, oh well, this is interesting. I had like Jeff Eccles, China makes wine. Okay.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Jeff, for shining a light on that for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, Adam was kind enough to bring a story to our attention. What? And this is a great story, by the way. So, what story did you bring for us?
Yeah. So this is local to the Midwest. My story is that a Minnesota bar was recently busted for selling Wisconsin beer. The particular beer in question was called Spotted Cow. The Spotted Cow is a beer that's produced by New Glarus, and New Glarus only has a license to distribute or to sell manufactured beer in Wisconsin. And so by this Minnesota bar traveling to Wisconsin and bringing back a keg to put on tap in a Minnesota bar and sell to customers, they had committed a felony, which had just blown my mind. I mean, I've tasted Spotted Cow. It's a pretty solid beer. I'm a Wisconsin native, actually. Like, I'd recommend trying a glass or two if you visit Wisconsin. It might even be something to go there for. That being said, I was blown away. Like, this is a felony. They're trafficking beer from Hudson to Twin Cities. Like, are you kidding me?
That's the crazy part. It's literally they were trafficking beer.
Yeah.
Is this a Vikings Packers thing?
I don't. I mean, usually we have reciprocity between the two states. I mean, they're actually pretty friendly, but and so it was pretty funny because they talked to the brewery in the story too, and New Glarus, is talking. They're like, well, thank you for selling our beer. We kind of feel bad that you did something stupid. You put them in a pretty tough position. What do you say there?
Right, because I mean,
foul the law.
Yeah, I mean, they just sold him a keg. They sold some dude a keg, and that guy went and sold it out of state.
So that got me thinking a little bit. Like with the boom of craft breweries, are we going to see more of these like local, just strongholds and grassroots operations popping up, and just dominating a local market and becoming that that hometown favorite? It might be interesting to see how the market progresses in the craft beer industry. If more of these New Glarus type operations start popping up, you're going to have to put warning labels on your kegs. To be honest, don't take this out of state.
Right. It's like the episode of The Simpsons where Homer says, that warning label is because of me. But we have a place called Bristol Brewing here in Colorado Springs, and they say that they don't want to distribute outside of the state because they want to concentrate on their quality. So that gets to your point about trying to dominate the local market. But I have a question. Did anybody else, when they heard about this story, think about the song Eastbound and Down and maybe a guy in a Pontiac Firebird?
Oh, yeah.
Come on, that's Smokey and the Bandit reference for you, folks.
Well, there you go.
That's the kind of quality you can expect on the We Like Drinking podcast.
That's right. But really, who ratted them out?
It was on their Facebook page.
Oh,
and they sent undercover police to the bar.
Yeah.
Damn government bureaucrats. I'll tell you what, man.
People say a lot.
Who's taking the time to check out a tavern's Facebook page and then bust them for an out-of-state beer? I mean, really, that's a revenuer who's got nothing else to do.
Yeah. I will say, though, it's a pretty well-known fact that this New Glarus Brewing Company distributes to Wisconsin only, right? And so there's a lot of Wisconsinites living in Minnesota. If they see that beer being served in Minnesota, it'll raise an eyebrow for sure.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate. Is there? Do you know? Is there anything behind the story? Do they know like what's come out of it? Is there?
Yeah. So it. I believe I'm trying to think of the word, but the repercussions have not been filed yet.
Okay.
And who knows? I mean, it's a felony. I think it's serious stuff, and it may actually put the bar out of business. So
yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's a laughing matter, but at the same time, it seems ridiculous, right? It's like,
right.
We brought a keg of Spotted Cow to Minnesota.
Yeah.
It's the law, but it's a stupid law.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's the whole three. I mean, it's the whole three-tier system, right? I mean,
It sure is, yeah.
I mean, it's fine. I mean, I don't think it's illegal to buy the keg and bring it into your state and drink it.
Correct.
But it is illegal to bring it in and then resell it because you're not buying it from a distributor in your area and whatnot.
Correct.
So, it's
didn't come by and put his little tax stamp on the keg. Oh, gee.
They're gonna put the bar behind bars.
Oh.
Seriously, this is an affront to freedom.
It is. I agree. So yeah, definitely. I mean, it's definitely not a laughing matter for them, but the ridiculousness of it is. So, hopefully they don't prosecute them to the max extent and they let it get out of it. But interesting story. So thanks for bringing that up, Adam.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Jeff Solomon.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man. What time does your Pantene shiny hair say it is?
A burn on you. I don't wash my hair. It's 5 o'clock.
Oh. Grossest thing ever said. Finally, now we can climb up on our soapboxes and wash Jeff's hair. I mean, we can move on to our reform topic discussion, an open discussion on topical subject matters. So, Jeff Solomon, why don't you take us out here? Oh, wait, no, that's not Jeff Solomon. That's me. Well done, Jeff.
You should talk.
I should probably talk about this one. So,
hey, Jeff Eccles, do you prepare for the show, or do you just come in?
I just show up, man.
He prepares by washing his hair.
Yeah, I got to talk the whole time, so I just show up and see what happens,
Winging it.
I hang loose, brah.
Oh, wait.
All right, so this has been a topic that's been raging for years. I shouldn't say raging; it's been discussed for years. But you're starting to see some wine producers actually do this. So the question is for you guys is: should wine and beer and spirit producers, for that matter, be required to list their ingredients on their labels like other food and drink producers? If Jeff Solomon is out buying a case of Pepsi Cola, you can see what ingredients are on it. But if you go pick up a bottle of wine, 99.9% of them don't have the ingredients on them. And so I'm curious as to what you guys think on this subject. Well, let's start with John.
So I raised my hand on this, and I was just thinking, a lot of these products, particularly spirits and things of that nature, what they put in it is a trade secret. And then I just thought, well, Coca-Cola's got the same problem, so they put on other natural flavorings. So, I mean, what's the point? I mean, it's just a waste of ink. I mean, the first ingredient, water. I mean, please, a lot of brewers will put on their labels, hey, this is a pumpkin peach ale, so it's got pumpkin and peach and water and malts, and hops and yeast and pumpkins and peaches or honey or whatever the heck it is they add to it. So a lot of brewers are really proud of what the ingredients they're putting into that beer. As far as listing them on, the weights and things, it's just a waste of time. And Jimmy's going to chime in. Government overreach. The FDA's got to stick their finger in everything. It's just, yeah. I mean, when is it going to stop? Please.
Okay. All right. So Jim.
Why does John hate my politics so much?
I don't know.
I don't hate your politics, Jim. I agree with most of them.
I try to be apolitical, but yeah, no, that's exactly what I was going to say. Be required? Nobody should be required to do that. I mean, it's good market sense to put your labeling on that. And since the 1960s, we as consumers want more information. So if you want to stay in business, you're going to do that. An example of this recently is Pepsi not using aspartame anymore. I've seen articles saying, well, is aspartame really horrible? Well, who cares? The consumers don't want it.
Right.
So it's what the consumers want. When that word required just got my neck hairs on end. They should, and most beer producers do label what they put in there. They're not going to say exactly what their yeast is, or they might not say exactly what their hops are, but they will put it on there. Yeah, most do. I'll say this. This high hop says the ingredients: water from the Keshleputer River, in-house cultured yeast, hops grown on site, and the finest malts. So, like, John, what does that tell you? Anything? No.
Other natural ingredients.
Right, but it pairs well with people, friends,
it's
family,
also
and the
made with
outdoors.
love.
Oh, it is a marketing thing because a lot of the mountain breweries they'll state that they do it from snow runoff. So
Right.
Required.
Okay. Yes, required. All right. So Jeff Solomon. Now I have it. Let's see if we take a turn now. Jeff Solomon, what do you think?
Okay, so there's a couple different angles to take here. One of it is wine is a food. I mean, if you're really going to talk about it, I mean, this is something you're ingesting, you're taking into your body. It's got calories, and there have been plenty of arguments, and I think you were bringing it up just the other day about, should calories even be labeled on wine? And the big fear is, like, are people going to become, I think we were talking about this a couple months ago, like, are they going to start just going on beer fasts or wine fasts because they realize, wait, there's calories in that? And so, there's this question of, like, if this thing has calories, if it is a food, like, shouldn't the ingredients be labeled? The other idea is that, well, alcohol is a toxin, so you don't necessarily want to encourage people to take that into their body. With the natural wine movement that's been going on with people looking at organic and biodynamic farming, there's a lot of folks that really want to know what's in their wine, or they say they want to know what's in their wine. It depends on what wine you're drinking. Ridge Vineyards, I want to say, is probably the first big-time winery to list their ingredients on the back of their label, because they really don't have anything to hide. It's just grapes and natural yeast and small doses of sulfites that go into it. But if you are a larger winery in the Central Valley that is using irrigated water during a drought year, you're using the cheapest champagne yeast you can find, you're putting in bentonite, you're putting in mega purple to give it flavor, you're putting in, like, extra powdered tannins and powdered oaks for texture, you're putting arsenic in, like we all know that they're doing. Like, there's this part that says, like, I kind of would like to know it. I mean, there's this part of everybody that says, yes, we want to know it, but really, if you're drinking most of the stuff that you find in the grocery store, you really don't want to know about the fish bladder that was used to fine your wine and precipitate out all those funky particles. You really don't want to know. And so I think, going back to more of, like, government backing off, I think what you're going to find is that the higher end, the finer wineries, and my hope is the finer breweries, it looks like a lot of breweries are kind of doing this anyways, but the finer wineries are going to be posting their ingredients because they've got nothing to hide and because they're proud of what's going into that wine. That's my take on it. I don't think you have to regulate it. I think Ridge got a whole lot of press, and they're selling a whole lot more wine. They already sell a shitload of wine because they list their ingredients on their labels now, you know?
Absolutely. So, Adam, do you have any thoughts on this?
I think just from like the geek consumer, I love to know more information, not necessarily the exact formula that was used, but the ingredients that were used is huge. So I was checking out this Fair State Brewing label for this IPA, and they talk about the hops used, right? So which is pretty classic. I kind of wanted to know what Lovey Bond, this beer is as well. Like, tell me the color, tell me what grain was used. Like, I'm missing a little information, but I think as somewhat of an enthusiast and a geek consumer, that's more information that helps me buy it, right? So we got brewed with Horizon, Chinook, Crystal, and Amarillo, and Columbus hops. So we have, I think, 5 hops. We have like a hop twister going on over here.
It's a hop bomb.
Yeah, that sounds awesome, actually.
Yeah, and from each person's point, I agree with what you're saying, and where I look at this is, I'm kind of with Jeff of the Ridge and the high end, the good brewers, the good winemakers. I don't have any problems with them, but like especially with me, like the winemakers that are producing wines that taste almost exactly the same year after year after year after year, and they are able to sell 750 liter bottles for $2 and $3 and $4. There's some stuff going on there that I would like to see what's on the label. I don't, should it be mandated? I mean, I do question why alcohol doesn't. I mean, everything else does, but you buy a bag of carrots and it has the ingredients on it. I mean, carrots.
This ain't communist Canada.
But but there's brewers, there's winemakers that are putting high fructose corn syrup in their product. They're using coloring. They're using, different flavor additives, and that's BS in my opinion that they're doing these things. And this would be a way to call them out on it. Now, if they were called out, would it change anybody that's buying Barefoot Moscato Sweet Red? I doubt it would make a difference in them buying it. But, I would like to know how these mega winemakers get their products so consistent year in and year out, because that's just not right.
But Jeff, you mentioned that if they put the ingredients in there, who's to say where they sourced it? They could just say they were grapes and the yeast and all that, but where you got it is very important as well.
Absolutely, and I mean they can just have grapes. I mean, they already have that. If it's a California red wine, I know the grapes came from California. But if they're putting, red food coloring number 40 or whatever it is in there, that's information that people should have. Go ahead, John. You're sighing.
The people that are going to drink those low quality wines don't give a rat's patootie about what's in it.
I agree, and I said that it's still. It won't change their mind, but it's still interesting information that I would like to see.
But
should it be required? No.
But Solomon, just a follow-up. You said there was some extra purple they put in it?
It's called Mega Purple.
Okay, is that what's staining your teeth then?
Oh.
You SOB.
Somebody just had a motorcycle go by their house.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
But seriously, I do just want to a counterpoint to something John just said, where he said, like, those folks drinking the $5 and $8 wines and stuff, like, they don't care. You know what? I bet you they probably would if they were told. Just because I'm just thinking, like, there's this air that goes along with wine before I even really recognize exactly what I was drinking. There's this feeling that you're being sophisticated and stuff like that. And I've seen plenty of people with, a glass of Franzia in hand, talking about how the steak that I'm eating is going to give me cancer. Like So, I mean, I guess what I mean is I think people would care. That being said, you put the ingredients on there. I don't know how many people are going to bother to read it. I'm pretty sure I've been told this. Every single pack of cigarettes that's sold in the United States has a sticker on it that says, "This thing will kill you," and it's still sell. So I don't know.
So
Yeah.
so to the beer guy, or go ahead, Jim.
Well, we actually had that conversation in one of my classes last week. I said, people, you could say directly, this product kills you, and it will kill you, lead to an early grave, and people will still buy it. But I just wanted to talk about one thing about the social responsibility aspect. Bringing up Milton Friedman, and he's quite often mischaracterized on this. And Milton Friedman said, you're basically paraphrasing that a company's responsibility is to its stakeholders.
Right.
And its stakeholders include those people who give it profits. So if a company is, let's say Jeff Eccles, a company is being unethical for a long time, the theory is that eventually they're not going to be able to compete in the market, and if more and more, if the consumers put the pressure on them to do the labeling, then more and more are going to have to, and then the low quality producers will get driven out of business. I mean, that's a basic market principle at work, I guess.
Right. Yeah. It is. Okay. Cool. Interesting discussion.
Economics by Jim Myers.
So do you know? I mean, do you guys know? Do you know of any beer producers that are using additional coloring or high fructose corn syrup or anything like that? And if they are, does that bother you, or would you want to know it?
I would definitely want to know it. I mean, there are a lot of us won't drink beer with adjuncts in it. Rice, corn, those kinds of things.
Right.
But yeah, I think not the average, but the craft beer enthusiast wants to know those things. And the word gets around. It's kind of a smaller community than people.
If people find out, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, Yuengling now is considered the largest craft brewer in the country, and people don't seem to care that it's a rice beer, or it's a corn beer, rather.
Right. John, any? So if you
I'm
had
not
a beer in there,
I'm not aware of any adulteration of beers.
But would it matter to you if somebody's using yellow
certainly,
food coloring to get their coloring in there? Would you want to know that?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would.
And right now you have no way of knowing that.
Well, you're correct. Yeah. There's no government warning label on my homebrewed beer.
Yeah, the German beer purity laws state that there should be 4 ingredients and 4 ingredients only. So
Right.
if you go by
Right.
those, then you wouldn't drink any of the wheat. They
make an exception for that.
Yeah, the beers with fruit in that and smoked whale testicles and all that. I know.
By the way, quick side note: did you guys see like the episode of Brew Dogs this week where they did the anti-Reinheitsgebot beer?
No, I missed
No,
that.
I did not.
Crazy! Like no water, no yeast, no malt, no hops. It was
So
insane.
they basically did a beer from Samaria.
Dude, they juiced cucumbers as their water source. It was insane. It was so cool. Sorry.
Awesome.
Sorry, guys.
No,
Shout out
that's
to
good.
Brew Dogs.
That's
They need
good.
to tweet me.
Brew Dogs, check it out, everybody. All right. Well, let's move it right along into our segment 4. Upcoming events. We find the best drinking events around, so you don't have to. Jim, what you got?
Well, folks, I just wanted to remind everybody that the American Homebrewers Association Big Brew is on Saturday, May 2nd. That's where homebrewers can get together. They can learn how to brew. If you are a home brewer, you're a member of a community, bring somebody out. Teach them how to brew. It's a great thing. Everybody needs to brew their own beer at least once.
Just to see it. It's quite a thing to go through, and it'll really change your perspective on what's going on. So
As long as Sean brings the guacamole.
Oh man, he makes some awesome guacamole, man. Our friend Sean Heron, he makes the best guacamole that I have tasted. He really knocks it out of the park. Yes, he
Guys,
does.
he listens to this show. You don't need to feed his ego. Come on.
It is good. It is good guacamole, Sean.
What's his name? Sean? Let me tell you something. This Californian that lives in Gilroy is ready to throw down because I make some killer guac over here on the West Coast. What?
I think we've got a challenge here. All right.
Guacamole challenge.
His guacamole is made with Brussels sprouts and okra.
No,
Come
that
on,
mainstream
man.
avocado guacamole.
I had to juice so many cucumbers for that.
Do you know what the word avocado comes from?
Don't care.
I do, but remind me. I think it's
Don't
like
care.
slang for testes, right?
It is. It's Aztec for testicles. Yes.
From any certain animal?
No.
Oh.
That's why they have nuts in them.
Adam,
And Adam
please
just
save
checked
us.
out.
Save us with an event, would you please?
Sure. So there's a beer fest in the Midwest. It's called the Great Taste of the Midwest. It's a pretty epic beer fest. And it's not going on soon. It's like in August, but they are releasing tickets this weekend. So you can mail order, or you can actually in person stand in line. They sell out in about an hour or so, and there's I think 3,000 to 4,000 people there, 400 to 500 breweries I want to say. So it's pretty solid.
400 to 500?
I think so. Yeah, it's a lot.
Wow,
Nice.
that's a lot of casseroles.
I have been, and I'm going to try to go again. But literally, like, it's extremely hard to get tickets. Like, you get them like every 4 years. It's crazy.
Oh, wow.
That
So,
is
yeah,
the
like-
perfect date too. August 8th.
Yeah.
What's August 8th, Jim?
This brewfest that Adam's talking about that we're on the topic of.
No, I know, but you said it's the perfect date.
Yeah, August 8th is a great date for that.
Okay.
It's not the beginning of the summer. It's not the end of the summer. It's not cold.
Oh, I thought you meant like specifically 8/8 was a great day because.
Oh yeah, no.
Okay.
No, the whole 8/8 thing got lost on me, went over my head, which is not tough because I'm short.
But I will be in line waiting for tickets, so hopefully I get some.
Awesome. So, will you get a discount on the tickets if you bring a hot dish?
Oh, that's a great question. At that point, it's bribery.
Right.
You can hot dish it up. You can Juicy Lucy it if you want.
Wait,
you might not get a discount depending on who's running the booth.
Right.
I have a question for you. Can't the creator of Brewing USA get a press pass for this?
Ooh, that's a great question. I am going to look into that. This is something that I'm starting to take advantage of this year as someone of a small board games publisher in the craft beer industry, looking at press passes. So I'm on it.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Good upcoming events. All right. So now let's move it along to what's cool or new with you. What should you be watching in the coming weeks? John, what do you got for us?
Well, just give you some, be sharing some updates. My friends over at Lizard Tail, they're kind of going gangbusters. They're having a hard time keeping up, so they've actually approached me about coming in to help them keep the serving tanks full. So they're running out. Their double IPA is a big seller. Their regular IPA is a big seller. Their Belgian single's a big seller, so they're having a hard time keeping up, and I'm going to be looking forward to helping them out.
Awesome. Cool. And hey guys.
Yes.
Hey, do you guys remember Val?
Yes, Val is great.
From episode 13? Well,
Yeah.
Vino with Val had so much fun on our show that she went out and started her own podcast.
Yes, and she's knocking it out.
She is. So
It's
killer. It is good. It is good. So, folks, if you're looking to add another podcast to your library. This one is specifically about wine. It runs about 20 to 25 minutes. Just a couple of very knowledgeable gals talking wine. But check it out. It is at Wine25. That's spelled out Wine, TWOFIVE. You can check it out at wine25.com and get all the deets on it. So good job, Val. Love the show.
Yeah, quick plug that Val is she's got a great sense of humor too, so that comes through.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. All right, well, let's move it along. Next up is the Crystal Ball, the segment where we selfishly promote what we're working on. Jeff Solomon, what you got coming up?
Hey, I'm going to be running a race. I don't know if you guys knew this, but I am a hardcore road runner. I've been kind of out of shape recently because I had a child, but then again, he's 16 months old, so I'm out of excuses now. I'm running a race.
You're out of shape because you had a child? Frickin' California, man.
Hey, man, I gotta.
Hey, it was the subject of an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Oh, you.
Are you the Danny DeVito or the Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Hey, so look, whatever. I'm gonna be. Look,
That's not a Toma.
wrong movie.
It doesn't matter.
Anyway, I'm sorry,
So
Jeff.
anyways,
Go
I'm
on.
going to be running the. This is why it is relevant for this show. I'm going to be running the Dionysus Dash. It's a 5K, Clos La Chance Winery in San Martin, California, this upcoming Sunday, May 3rd? Yeah?
I don't know. It's your thing.
Sunday
Sure.
is May 3rd, yes, sir.
Yeah, this upcoming Sunday. So, anyways, look for me to do a write-up about what it's like to taste wine after winning a regional 5K race through the vineyards in which the wine was grown.
Nice.
So which blog are we going to be looking at then?
Martin
I'm
Redmond's.
going to post it on aroundwineworld.com. Come on.
That was mean, but awesome. All right. Well, good luck with that. We expect to see lots of pictures of you laying on the ground, writhing in pain, but we'll see what happens.
You know
All
I'm a
right,
stuff
John.
muffin.
Gee.
I got a snort out of John. John, well done. John, what's in your crystal ball?
Oh, again, I'm getting ready for a trip to Costa Rica, so look for a beer review with a strong male.
Oh my God, that did just not happen.
That's horrible.
I was just reading what I put in the notes. Oh,
Okay.
You should
18
read that again.
Yes. All right.
Awesome. So I'm looking into the past, the very near past, and I see your fortune. You are enjoying a We Like Drinking story. So it's really not a crystal ball, but be sure to check out our top 10 reasons why your drinking friends are better than your non-drinking friends. And there's several hundred reasons, but we listed the top 10 on the We Like Drinking Show website, so you can find that on the front page. Jim.
I am going to put up a place review on Boxing Bear Brewing from Albuquerque very soon.
Good, quick and to the point. I like it. Adam, what you got coming up? A lot,
Yeah.
I imagine.
A lot. So manufacturing on Bruin USA, and also actually starting my own podcast as well, called Gamers with Wives, on the premise of families that game together stay together.
Nice. So yeah, I guess obviously I didn't ask that, but if you invented a game, you are probably a pretty big gamer, yeah?
Yes, I've mainly like a video gamer my whole life, but recently got into board games. I think once you get a little older, you look for that people time versus the computer time, and the tabletop really I think brings it out. So
Yeah. So what are a couple of your favorite tabletop games?
tabletop, Seven Wonders, Carcassonne, Bruin USA, of course. I can't miss that one.
Right.
Jive for 2 players. Light Crowd, King of Tokyo. I'll stop there.
Man, I think we just got our wish list for our hockey tournament where Jeff always brings the games.
Nice.
Yeah, yep, yeah. Oh, those are all excellent games, by the way. King of Tokyo is a blast. I mean, I play that with my kids, who are young kids, and they still have a blast with it. So,
Absolutely.
excellent games. Carcassonne is a great one. Seven Wonders is a good one. Have you played what's the Resistance?
Yes. Very good. You need the right group, though. You need a group that is willing to lie.
Yeah. So our hockey team, we had fun with that game,
Good.
as you can imagine.
Yeah, I believe it.
That was
Awesome.
intense. I got really into that.
Yeah, it was good. Okay, cool. All right, hey, John.
Yeah, what's up?
All right, focus now.
I'm all right.
If a train left Buffalo and stopped in Stockholm by way of Tokyo, and another train left Perth on its way to Buenos Aires but stalled in Albuquerque, what time is it?
Wait a minute. I'm putting together a Venn diagram with a binomial equation. Say that again. I think it's 5 o'clock.
I was going to say, don't make me say that. You know what that means. Last call. Time to clean house and lock the doors. So I want to thank all our listeners for joining us each and every week. We know you have a lot of choices in podcast entertainment, and we are thankful that you choose us for your weekly dose of booze buffoonery. We have a lot of cool stuff coming up at We Like Drinking, so make sure you're keeping up on the latest by liking our Facebook page and following us on Instagram, Google+, and or Pinterest. You can find all of them just by searching those sites for We Like Drinking. You can also find us on Twitter by searching for, what is it, Jim, again?
We Like Drinking 1, the numeral 1.
That's right. Not just We Like Drinking. Those jerks have never even put one tweet out. I hate them. And, of course, be sure to subscribe to our podcast via iTunes or whatever podcast catcher app you use. Have you subscribed to the podcast yet? Jeff Solomon, have you subscribed yet?
I am a subscriber, yeah.
Awesome. Excellent. We really want you to subscribe. So to encourage you to click that subscribe button, it's time for another episode of Wait, Who Subscribed? Where this week Jim takes a quote from someone fictional or non-fictional and twists it around, relate to our podcast somehow. So Jim, take it away.
Okay. So you see, the podcast description was like industry, in that they were both lost in the woods, and nobody, especially the subscribers, society, knew where to find them. Except that podcast subscription was a dog. But the subscription, my friends, that was a revolution. Nearby football rules!
I think I got this.
Jeff Eccles has this.
It's the mid 2000s rom-com Marley and Me. Is that it? You said something about
exactly
a dog,
right?
right?
John,
anybody?
I'm channeling Christopher Walken on this one for some
totally.
Wrong. No, it's the wrong one.
Everything he does sounds like Christopher Walken.
You're doing it all. See, the puppy was like industry, and they got lost in the woods. Society.
Blue.
Is this
So,
Billy Madison?
So
It is
Adam,
Billy Madison.
I was gonna say,
Yes.
Adam, you have a name in this one. Do you got it?
Yes, Billy Madison.
Oh
I
my
award
gosh.
you no points.
It's the stupidest thing I ever heard. I was gonna go with something else, but then at about an hour before the podcast, I said, "Man, I'm doing this one." Lightning struck me.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Adam, way to come in and take it. I like it.
Yes.
Such a, okay.
And thank you for keeping John 0 on
No.
the board.
No. I have 2.
What? The silent
right.
film does not count.
Moving on. If you'd like to get a hold of us, you can email us about anything you want at podcast@welikedrinking.com. If you email us for any reason whatsoever, we'll make sure to get you a mention on the show and probably something in the mail, as listener Jeff just recently received. But this show is not just about We Like Drinking. We have an awesome panel as well that you should connect with. So, guys, where can our listeners find you online? Jeff Solomon?
Hey, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JeffIsRad. And watch my Stay Rad Wine Blog TV videos on YouTube and StayRadWineblog.com.
/space.
Go to that. It's great videos.
Absolutely. Jim?
You can find me on Untapped at Jim Myers. Also on Twitter at Jim Myers CO. And on Vivino at Jim Myers, where I have as many check-ins as Jeff. Oh, by the way, on Untapped, I'm killing John.
Oh, boom.
Yeah, falling back the last 2 weeks. Sorry. I'll make it up this week.
Follow me on the drive for 500.
Follow me on my drive for 402. John, where can the good folks find you?
Find me on Untapped as Brewhack.
Brewhack, yes. And you can find me, the other Jeff, on Vivino and Untapped, both at Jeff Eccles. Adam, where can the fine listeners find you online?
BruinUSA.com, at Adam's Apple Games, and on Untapped. I don't know what my name is on Untapped, but I'm on there.
Awesome.
I think it's like A. Rayberg. AREAHBERG.
Okay.
Perfect. Awesome. Get that looked up. You can also find the show notes for this episode with all links to the stories or mentions we have at welikedrinking.com/podcast. Okay, panel, let's take one last trip around the table and get some final thoughts before we shut off the lights. John.
Age your wine in 120-degree Albuquerque garages.
That sounds like a fantastic idea. Jeff Solomon.
List of ingredients in my wine: guacamole, garlic. That's it. And cucumber juice.
Jim.
You have to subscribe to the podcast.
I don't even know what that was. Adam, do you have any final thoughts?
Yes, if pee in your pants is cool, then consider me Mob Davis.
I would have got that one. I would have got that line.
And I'll just say to this podcast that I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. So thanks again for joining us at the We Like Drinking podcast, where you'll never go.
You forgot to tell Adam about the fisting.
Yeah, I know.
I
Nice
do.
warning, Adam, that we were going to do that. I totally forgot.
Like right
So,
before.
Adam, we
Like,
do this thing at the end of the show where we all kind of bump fists. We might want to let you know about that. There you go.
yeah,
There it
I
is.
saw like right when I was about to start saying it, I was like,
Oh, yeah.
this
Fake out something.
awesome. Let me stop this so hopefully my laptop